Well, Jay-Z 100% is a cuckold, right? He likes to watch his woman, Beyonce, with other men.
And how do you do you have any proof of this, or did you hear about this somehow?
Like being around and being direct, and them other people around him asking the woman that I was dating at the time was asking if I would be into anything like that. Like Diddy, Jay-Z's sexual preference is peculiar to say the least. But I was there and I witnessed some very questionable behavior for sure. And like the tour that I was on with Jay-Z, they did a documentary. It was Jay-Z, DMX, Amil, and they had trans women on the bus.
That's absolute insanity, bro.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
So remember Jonathan Hay, the industry publicist who's been a publicist for Rihanna. He's worked with Jay-Z. He's worked with Drake, DJ Khaled, RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan. He's worked with Biggie Smalls. Whitney Houston, Teddy Riley. He's worked with a lot of people, right? Remember I interviewed him on my show, right? But before I interviewed him, I reacted to an interview that he did with this channel called Truth Is. And that interview, or the reaction to the interview, is now sitting at almost 850,000 views. So thank you all once again for that absolute insanity. If you haven't checked it out, you should really go and check it out. Anyways, this guy said some crazy things, some really groundbreaking things that aligns right in line with Jaguar Wright and a lot of these other folks who've been talking about what many would consider conspiracy theories. Well, this guy has once again outdone himself. He's went back onto the Truth Is channel, interviewed with them, and has made some other claims that, I thought I asked a lot of questions when he was on my show, but I didn't get him to talk about this. Some of it he was a little bit weary from talking about, but he's finally decided to open up and say some of these things. So the first thing I want you to take a listen to is what he said about Jay-Z. And if you remember, in Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy, one of the things she talked about was sex slaves. She essentially was a sex slave for him, and Diddy enjoyed watching her do things with other men, and he would get off on it, right? And another thing was that there was this guy who came out years ago and said that Diddy, I think he said Rick Ross, DJ Khaled, he said all of them are bisexual and that they're a part of this occult called the Boule, which is like another form of what they call the Illuminati, but it's Freemasonry, right? Basically.
Diddy and Ross, which they good buddies, okay? Mm-hmm. They're gay.
Who?
Both. Diddy and Ross. And Khaled. They're all gay, okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, yeah. And P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They're all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I know you may or may not, I know you're gonna believe me. You have what's called the Illuminati. How do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
You know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
And what he said aligned perfectly with what Cassie accused him of in her lawsuit. Well, now in Jonathan Hayes' interview with Truth Is, he has now said that Jay-Z, Diddy is not the only person who enjoys watching their wife or their woman do things with other men and get off on it.
Recently, I did a video on Jay-Z, right? And I spoke about, it was actually on Pimp C. The video was on Pimp C, and because his close friend, Pimpin' Ken, he claims that he has a videotape that Pimp C recorded of a famous R&B singer and hooking up with a man that's not her current boyfriend or her current husband. And everyone in the comments said that it was Beyonce in the video that Pimp C has. And in another interview he did, the Pimpin' Ken, he basically admitted that the people in the comments were commenting that it was the right person. So he's basically admitted that it was Beyonce.
Right.
Did you hear anything of that sort, like of Jay-Z having similar behavior to Diddy in the sense that, he would let his woman be recorded with other men or stuff like that?
Well, Jay-Z 100% is a cuckold, right? He likes to watch his woman, Beyonce, with other men.
And how do you like? Do you have any proof of this, or did you hear about this somehow?
Like being around and being direct, and them other people around him asking the woman that I was dating at the time was asking if I would be into anything like that, but also being vague where, like rejecting, the possibility. He could always, deny it and, oh, that's not what we meant. But that's exactly it's exactly what he meant. But yeah, just like I said, being around, Rock Nation and Tidal and all those things, it was pretty common knowledge that, Jay-Z is someone like Diddy that's now out in the open that likes to watch his wife with other men.
Okay. So do you think that there is a possibility that that tape exists? Maybe it's not, because the whole running rumors that Jay-Z might have gotten Pimp C, eliminated or taken out because he had this tape of Beyonce hooking up with another man allegedly, and he also had beef with Pimp C didn't like Jay-Z. And then in the video I did, I showed repeatedly how many people around Pimp C said that he had hatred for Jay-Z, and they blamed it on Tupac, but it didn't make sense to me because Pimp C is from the South, Tupac is from the West Coast. They didn't know each other at all. There was no relationship there whatsoever. But somehow he hated Jay-Z so much and blamed it on that. I think it was just like something to cover up the real reason,
Right.
But that's interesting. So you saying for a fact that Jay-Z is into similar behavior as Diddy. He likes to, basically what Cassie was put through. He likes to watch his girl get in relationships with other men while he sits there and enjoys himself.
That's correct, and that's one of the reasons that we said in the last interview when I was talking about him being bi, because what else is that when you want to watch another man with your wife and you're measuring yourself? I know it's cuckolding. I know all that, but like this is firsthand information from something that I've dealt with, an experience that I've dealt with. That Jay-Z is definitely a cuckold, and it's not women, it's men that he wants to see with Beyonce.
I don't know about you, and before you all hop in the comment section and say, why do y'all care so much about what other people are doing in the privacy of their bedroom? You're missing the forest for the trees, and I keep telling you this, it's bigger than that. Because do you think it's a coincidence that all of these people just so happen to be this way? Do you think it's a coincidence that a lot of these people are accused of something that many people have been saying about them for years, but they never get arrested for it? And then all of a sudden, everything comes down at once after decades of conspiracy theories of people saying these things about him. Now this dude has come out as an industry publicist who's documented and said these things about Jay-Z. Well, now I want you to take a listen. He went a step further and said that Jay-Z actually has a very peculiar sexual appetite or something of that sort, alleging that Jay-Z enjoys working or doing things with transgenders.
I want to ask you if you heard of this story, during that time, because this is what I believe was floating around the internet. They were saying that allegedly Jay-Z gave Rihanna an STD, and that Rihanna allegedly gave that STD to Chris Brown. And that's what caused the fight, the breakup or whatever, that Jay-Z was allegedly sleeping with with Rihanna at the same time that Rihanna was sleeping with Jay-Z. Did you hear anything about that? Would you happen to know if that's true, or maybe not true, but if you heard anything about that?
I did hear those rumors, and when you said Jay-Z was sleeping with Chris Brown, I also heard that rumor as well.
Oh, so you heard a rumor of Jay-Z hooking up with Chris Brown as well?
Yeah, because like Diddy, Jay-Z's sexual preference is peculiar to say the least.
And that's another thing. You, in the last interview, you said that Jay-Z was bi, and that you were 100% sure that he was.
Correct.
How do you know this?
I know it from being around, and without saying, the name of the people, because I know a lot of people don't want to be involved in these type of things because they've moved on in their lives or they have families and everything else. But I was there and I witnessed some very, questionable behavior for sure. And like the tour that I was on with Jay-Z, they did a documentary. It was Jay-Z, DMX, Amil. They made like, what was the name of the documentary? But it was that tour, and they had trans women on the bus, and not like the 2024 trans women that you see, where like sometimes you're surprised. You see these stuff on like Instagram and videos of like a woman that, it's like, wait a minute, that was a man before. It was like clearly like a a, a person almost. I don't want to say drag, but clearly you could tell that it was a man. There wasn't any mistaking that this trans woman was on the tour bus and was going out on tour, with Jay-Z, Memphis Bleak, PD Crack, all that whole entire tour.
Now, before y'all want to make this about transgender hate or whatever it is, the point is, if you portray yourself to be this heterosexual gangster rapper person, but in actuality, you're being accused of doing a lot of the same things that Diddy was doing. Not to mention that Diddy is quite literally Jay-Z's business partner. Harvey Weinstein was Jay-Z's business partner. R. Kelly was Jay-Z's business partner. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. You mean to tell me you're the only person like that's squeaky clean and you're at the top of the list? Like, you may be a lot more careful than these people, but what is the likelihood that you squeaky clean? And I want you all to notice something else. Jonathan Haidt talked about how Ray J, who came out and defended these people and did a terrible job at doing so.
There's a lot of people out here taking from people. Not only like people are getting robbed of not only their money and their spirituality. They're getting robbed of their womanhood and manhood. Asses are being taken in ways that nobody can explain. What? Do you chuckle?
Yeah.
Do you laugh? Do you help? Do you criticize? Because I see a lot of jokes out there right now talking about baby oil. Everybody got a joke about having baby oil and lube. Is that okay? Is that the message?
It's to protect yourself.
That was funny, fam. Now what?
Man.
I don't use baby oil. Lube sometimes in sex makes it better.
Was one of the people that has been given the green light or the okay to do things with Beyonce, allegedly. These are the things that somebody else is saying. I'm not saying them.
That's why I was like, he's definitely bi,
I agree. I think that I'll say this: if he wasn't embarrassed of this, or if he felt that it was something not to be embarrassed of, I don't think he would be hiding it. I think that especially in this day and age when you could do whatever the heck you want. So I don't think that he would be hiding that if he wasn't embarrassed of it. He also comes from a different time, but still, it's the same behavior with Diddy. Diddy obviously didn't want people to know that he was paying men to come do stuff to Cassie while he did that.
Correct.
So do you think that there's more people like Diddy and Jay-Z that are doing this in there? Is this something normal in the music industry?
I don't know. They're the only ones that I know that are really, into it, and they were at the very top of the food chain, and that's their like fetishes and their kinky, behavior that they like to, partake in. But I don't think Jay-Z is as sloppy as Diddy. It seems like Diddy got very comfortable with his sexual appetite and his perversions, which is like he would just fly in all these different male, escorts and, for his parties and stuff like that. Whereas I think with, Jay-Z, like he has to have a, like a relationship and a sort of trust. And that's why it was really surprising to me to see, Ray J come out speaking against, Jaguar Wright and he's like Beyonce, Beyonce, oh Beyonce, because Ray J is one of those people that is allowed to be with Jay-Z's wife.
That's crazy. That's absolute insanity, bro. I have so many questions, man, like about this year, about this world, about the industry, about people, about how I saw life. And we all know about Ali Carter, the alleged Diddy victim, sex slave, all these people. I just can't wrap my head around this, bro. Have y'all seen this interview? What are your thoughts? I think this is the year of exposure. I keep saying it, but I'm standing by it. And if I can play any part, my little small part of exposing these people, I don't care what y'all hop in the comment section and say, I'm going to continue to do it, bro. These evil folks who follow Aleister Crowley, who are ADMITS, occultists, Freemasons, just evil people with evil agendas. But my bigger question is, who are the people that's allowing them to do this? Right? That's who I want to talk about. Who's giving them the green light to do it? Who's allowing Diddy to go 30 years without getting in trouble? But the moment he steps out of line or they feel like it's the right time to do it, they can just, with the snap of a finger, with the flip of a switch, all of a sudden, everything comes down on them at once. Who are those people? And if you're asking me, it's those small group of people that we are not allowed to talk about, that we are not allowed to say their names. Otherwise, our videos will be taken down. We're accused of being hateful. That's the word I'm going to use. Who are the people that sign Diddy's and the Jay-Z's? Who own these record labels? Because once we get a step closer to figuring out who those people are, and by figuring out, I mean like just saying them by their names, because we know who they are, the much closer we'll realize what's really going on. If you know who I'm talking about, if you know what I'm talking about, hop in the comment section. I'd love to know what you think. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for being here. Until next time, man. Peace.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.